Glory to God. Good evening from Nigeria. For the Lord God is a sun and shield. He will give grace and glory, and no good thing will he withhold from those that walk uprightly. God's counsel is for all of us to have great life, great family life, great homes, great marriages. Whatever is different from that is from the devil. And it does not matter how far the devil has gone, it can be stopped. This is the reason we are here. To let you know that abuse is wrong, abuse of any form. And to let you know that if you are in an abusive relationship, divorce is the last thing. But there are things you can do before you get to divorce. There are 7 stages any marriage that will break will go through. The last stage is divorce. The 6th stage is separation. And from separation, you can decide to go to divorce or to go back and come into reconciliation. I still want to maintain that there are good families. There are good marriages. There is no perfect marriage, but there are great marriages. There are still good men. There are good women. This is a fact. I am married to a good man. Is he perfect? No. Am I perfect? No. But there are still good people. So do not allow what is going on in the world today make you feel that you don't want to be married, because marriage is not good. Marriage is good. Marriage is very, very good. And you can enjoy your marriage. It is sweet, depending on the cutlery you use to eat it. It's such an honor to be welcoming all of you from around the world today. Thank you for all the encouraging words. Thank you for all the love. And I'm so grateful for the speakers that we've had. And it's just getting hotter and hotter and hotter. Woo! Today, I have had a lot of requests. When will you train men? When will you? I'm glad to let you know that next week, Tuesday, I'll be hosting Pastor Kingsley Okonkwo. Men, can we talk? And we're going to be talking about men that are in an abusive relationship. Help! My wife is abusive. And it's going to be on these various platforms too. I'm just waiting for all of you to invite your friends before I bring up our erudite speaker today. This is the second time she'll be here, and I'm sure it's the beginning. Her name is Reverend Christie Bature. She's a family therapist, a life coach, a marriage counselor, a trauma counselor, addiction therapist. She's a polygrapher. So you can't even lie when you go for counseling with her. When she pulls out that machine, something happens. It's such an honor to have you here tonight. Great woman of God. She's a preacher, she's a singer, and she's going to be kicking us off today. And get ready, because the next 2 speakers too. Oh my, we have 3 today. Thank you so very much, Reverend Christy. I'm giving my mic to you now. Welcome, ma'am. Welcome, welcome for the concluding part of what you started on Monday. Over to you, ma'am. Thank you. Reverend Christy. Yeah, she's back and we're excited. Okay, I don't know, maybe her network. Okay, then we're going to, while she's sorting herself out, we are going to move. Reverend Christy, are you there? Okay, because I want us to maximize the time. So we're going to move straight to Dr. Franklin Mondo Mugisha. This is the second time too I'll be hosting him. He was once an army officer, a very senior army officer. He's a blessing. Ooh, Dr. Frank, you see, God knows how he does it. So we're going to put, thank you. We're going to have you first, and then we have the lady in the middle, and then we have the last speaker for tonight. Thank you so very much. Welcome, sir. Over to you.
It's a blessing to be here, and I trust that it's never too late to salvage the generation of men and to build the good families. And I trust that before we finish this Something spiritual and physically would have been broken, psychologically will be settled, and physically will be ready to go back and love. The strength of anger will turn it into love, and our homes will brim again with love and peace.
Thank you, Dr. Frank. Please take your session.
Mom, last time I talked to you, and after that, I think I got quite a lot of people. I've got a lot of people who came to me, who spoke to me, and who came and said, where have you been? This is the first of the things. Where have you been? But this is a message that I've been waiting to give birth to. I always want to package and bring my message when the right time comes in. And God's season is always the best. As I said from the last time, we have many boys trapped into adult bodies. The foundation is the problem. The urban excitement is the problem. The family, all the generations. Let me tell you, Mom, when I was growing up, I used to say that when I grow up, I want to drink a whole lorry of soda. That's my vision. And I said, when I grow up, I want to have 2 women. Because I saw my father being polygamous. I saw how he treated his wife. I saw how he built his things around. And I did not understand that this was an issue that also was affecting not only my father, not only my grandfather, sorry, my other grandchildren. It was a generational. The problem of every home settlement starts with men. If whatever women are receivers, God coupled them as computer, that whatever you sow in them, you shall have it multiplied. Give them food, give them groceries, you shall have food on the table. Give them sperm, you shall have children crying in the house. Women are on the receiving end and multiplying end. But the giver is, what do we give our women today? We have a generation today that is so much detached from the reality. We have a people, men as well. I know that they've been abused in their relationships, but they're not as men as many women that have been abused. The preparation, man, is not prepared. Let's go back to the young boy. He finishes his primary school. He goes to secondary school. It's when he begins to understand ant girls. Let's make it in black and white. No one has prepared him for cleanness, hygiene, character, understanding. He goes to university. He finishes school. No one has prepared him. He finds his girlfriend, his sweetheart at the end. Nobody has sat him to tell him that, listen to me, you're going to another stage for another assignment. A lady from the age she's 14, she's taught how to keep herself, how to keep hygiene, how to protect herself, how nobody should have bad touches. To boys, nobody's talking to boys about this whole thing. Boys are hunters. Whatever they see in their front, they want to eat it up. They're not prepared for the future. They're not prepared for life. Now, it is not only that. Now, think about the same boy who's not prepared for marriage. He's not prepared even how to handle wealth. That's why when many men, they get money, when they have married, they want to have side chicks. They want to have these girls around. It's a character thing, because money is the power to manifest the character of a man. So we have a generation of men that have not been prepared for the assignment. Many men, you talk to them, they'll tell you, I've married for clan, I've married to have children, I've married, they can see me as a man, but they are not been prepared to become men. So what happens to me? When money comes in, mixes up with wrong character, all the man has is what he has seen his grandfather do. All he has is a character pruned and grown in him in hostel, in university. It's boys giving boys advice. They are not people who have sat. That's why we need to bring men and say, man, we need to talk. There's something is getting out of hand. And let me tell you this, man. It has not And I want to say this without fear of, and I don't mind if you don't invite me to your church to preach. I've been holding a microphone for 28 years. I'm 50 years of age. I want to hear me this. I've traveled 79 countries of the world. There is no crowd I've not seen. There are no people I've not seen. There are many pastors, there are many bishops, there are many preachers, there are many Holy Ghost filled tongue speaking who don't know what marriage is all about. Their marriage is classified according to pulpit. It is standardized according to the preaching. It is put together by what they talk on pulpit. But the language back home in the bedroom is a different one. As he's treated by the ushers in church, he wants to be treated the same back at home. But what I tell is, man, I said you got to find a cloth to put on. The way I dress when I'm in my living room, it's not the same way I dress when I go to pulpit. The way I dress in bedroom, I can't come in the living room.
Wow. Network, what's going on? God have mercy. Hey, this is hot. Woo! Woo. Oh my God, I'm becoming speechless again. Speechless again. Dr. Frank will join us. Hey, it is possible to be an authority figure in the church, in the mosque, in politics, and not know how to manage marriage. That's heavy, but it is the blatant truth. So, because you are a leader and you are worshipped by the ushers, by the small imams under you, or the big imams, depending on your size, by fellow politicians and your colleagues, you think once you come to the home, you must be worshipped in the same way. Woo!
Amen, ma'am. Sorry, the power shortage.
Please go on, sir.
So we have not taught men the way that I dress in the bedroom. It's not the way I dress in the living room. I can't come with night panties. The language spoken on pulpit is not the same language spoken to me by my children back in the living room. My children in the living room call me daddy. Children, they call me pastor. They don't call me preacher. God. They don't call me. The relationship with them, it is about a relationship between a father and a child. When I leave the living room, I cross to the bedroom. The language there, it's not about pastor. It's about honey. The songs and the music you hear in the bedroom, you cannot hear it on the pulpit. Never.
Oh my God.
The language spoken in the bedroom is different from the one that you do in a prayer room. We need to teach our men that they are in even a home. There are different ways. As different clothes you put on, there can be a different song and language taught in every area of our lives. And I'm here to encourage some man here that you can come back and understand these things. It's never too late, man. It's never too late. Our mindset must change. We must not look at me. And I'm talking to the men and women of God. You could be watching me today. You don't know how to tackle it down. You can go back and tell your wife, I'm extremely sorry. I told the other time, Mom, that every 31st of December, I kneel down and I tell to my wife, I'm sorry, give me opportunity to serve you this year. I still remain the father of my children. I still remain the father of the boys. And I tell her, if I've done anything wrong, I'm extremely sorry. Help me. Don't leave me. You are my best friend. You know my weakness. You know how I sleep. You know how I snore. You know how I look when I wake up. You are the best person I have in the world. And that has kept me for 19 years moving. And my wife, she's a very happy woman. I know that because I don't bring pulpit to the bedroom. My pulpit stays at church. It doesn't even come to my... Listen to me, ma. I'm sorry to tell you this. I don't have a Bible in the bedroom. It's a crazy thing. No, I don't have a Bible. I have a Bible in prayer room. When I come to bedroom, the things that are there are crazy. The music we listen to is about love. The way we do things, it's different. So we told Jesus, Holy Spirit, you're welcome here. Jesus, you're welcome. But please, if you ever see things here, don't tell anybody. Don't tell any prophet.
Oh my God.
This room is for crazy people.
Wow.
We have not taught our men in church. We're teaching them how to give tithe. We're teaching them how to do, but homes are bleeding. And I can tell you the truth. Homes are bleeding. And if it comes to mega churches, they are more bleeding. Because they cannot reach, we can't reach out to other people. So we must bring men and we tell them we need to talk. We need to do conferences for men and tell them it's never too late. You can salvage that marriage that you're about to give up. There are many boys trapped into adultery. Mama, don't be deceived that someone being older, it is wisdom. I've met stupid old men, fools, man of 50 years, dating a girl of 20 years. You don't know where you're taking this kid. You're so selfish. You don't know where this kid is. You have failed to guide this person. Man, I've found people in life who are full of the Holy Spirit, but who are empty at home. I've met wives of pastors, bishops, come to me. They said, Doc, I need to talk to you. He said, what? He said, I'm sorry, but I feel jealousy when I see your wife. I said, why? I said, because I feel in my spirit. You've captured not only me, but you've captured even the way I feel I would love to be. Listen, mom, I've been telling men, if you want to have peace, give your phone to your mother and to your wife. Give them the password. I always tell my wife, I said, hey, this is the phone here. Get the password. Do you know why? Ma, I'm trying to tell her I'm open as a glass. But some men have 15 password. On what there's a password. On your phone, there's a password. Issues on password. And I'm here to speak to you. Men, if you want to sleep in your bed without any encumbrances, give your password to your wife. Give your phone to your wife. And tell her, anybody who calls will answer. You sleep like a baby. So, preparation for men. Bringing men into a place of position. And understanding that your wife is not against you. If there's anybody who has the best interest, listen to you, young man, and you're filled and anointed. Listen to me. When you die, there is only two people who have your name, not church members. It'll be your wife and your children. And the way you treat them will make a decision of how you lived well with them. Ma, I want to give you a story. One man died in London. And while we are on the functioning and we are waiting, and the reverend started, this man has been so beautiful. This man loved the family. He loved his children. One of the children came out of church. He said, Ma, we're in the wrong funeral service. Our father has been beating you. Wow, let's get out. This is Bethnal Green.
Wow.
He said, let's get out. So the mother said, keep quiet. Rian, sit down. He said, no, mom. What Reverend is speaking is not true. Our father's been beating you. Our father's been abusing you. He said, no, let's get out. The Reverend could not preach anymore. So the Reverend asked the kid, what do you want us to say? He say that our father was abusive. Our father was beating our mother, but our mother kept quiet. Tell the truth that they came to counseling 16 times. Say the truth. It was a shame. Even on your death, there are people convicting you. Your manhood is not measured by how many slaps you beat a woman. There is nothing you're confirming to that woman. That woman she knows you naked. Let me tell you, Mr. Preacher, Mr. Arrogant. That woman can do anything to you when you are sleeping. She knows everything about you. She knows how you snore. She knows how you wake up. She knows when you're poor, when you're broke. She knows your understanding. She knows your ability. You better sober up, come together, put the game in play, and talk to your wife and tell him, I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm giving up. I'm giving up on my habits. Help me. Mama, that is the day of deliverance. So we have a generation going back that is trapped into habits that our great grandfathers celebrated, our mothers celebrated. Because there's nobody talking about them. Cows are breeding. They speak to you. There is nothing important in your life. The thing greater in your life. There is nothing very important in life like your life. You have a single life. You must bring it in. Make sure that life is not abused. You need to wake up. You need to wake up. Start facing the reality. Start facing the work. Start facing the system. The evil.
I'm just speechless. What? Oh my God. I am just speechless. What? Oh my God. Network. Oh my God. God bless you so much, Dr. Franklin. God bless you so much. Every Tuesday, I will be back. Navigate with FFA. And we're going to be bringing men like this. Because somebody just wrote, I think I saw something. Some men, their password has password. Woo! Ooh. Ah, oh my God. Thank you, Dr. Franklin. I wish you could, oh my God. I'm just speechless. Okay. We're going to switch right away to Reverend Christie Bature. She's here in the studio. Mama Christy. Oh my God. What happened? We were looking for you all over the world.
Yes, Mama.
Ooh, thank you. Please send your questions. We're going to still answer the questions during the event. Some of you are asking questions. Send your questions to anotherchance@funkefelix-adejumo.org. Yeah. Mama Christy, please, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Mama. Good evening. It's a privilege to be back here today. And every day is proof that God has kept us alive for one more day. And so we were here on
Can
Monday.
you increase the volume, ma'am?
God has kept us
so alive. We can hear you better.
Praise God. All right. I've been so blessed listening to the speakers from Monday to yesterday and today. I am really, really blessed. I have grown. And this talking, I don't know where it's from. but may God amplify his voice to the nations of the earth. And may God amplify his, because he's speaking truth as should be spoken. As should be spoken. And I like his size too. Nobody can intimidate him and say to him, why are you
He used to be a soldier.
Men like that? He's big enough to punch anybody. Okay. It's raining heavily. So the networks a bit, but I trust God that we'll be able to conclude. I love, and I want a song today so that it will send the message of what we're doing. What we're doing here this week with Mama is not bashing women. It is trying people from the place of defeat to the place of victory, and then people have been broken into warriors in the hand of God. Warriors in the hand of God. So it's only by the love of God that we can take tragedy and turn it into a trajectory that will baffle the world. Of God, that we can take darkness, and the light of God will dispel that darkness, and it has no anymore. So this song was done by Bobby Mason, and I want to share it with you. And it says, somewhere in the night, an aching heart is lonely. A voice is to be heard. Somewhere in the night, a man is hoping, a dreamer breathing. The future will get bright. Only God can make it true. So let him reach the world. We can make a world of difference. God, we can change the world. We can shine our light that overcomes the darkness. And
Thank you, Holy Spirit. You can tell that the devil is scared. Yes, it rained in Nigeria. I don't know why network is behaving this way, but we trust the Lord. We take authority over the airwaves in the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth. We decree and declare that Jesus Christ is Lord over everywhere in the name of Jesus. She's back. Mama Christy, network was so bad. Please just go ahead, within the confine of the time that you have. That was a powerful song.
All right. Okay. Well, because too much interruptions. But we can learn to love each other and give ourselves away to be our sisters' help and our brothers' help, especially when they're struggling. I want to start by talking about the percentage of young people in prisons who grew up in homes where the father was either physically absent or essentially absent. The statistics are that 85 to 90% of all young people across the world grew up in homes where the fathers were either absent physically or essentially unavailable. And I want to quickly take about 4 different types of fathers who wound their children in such a way that they reduce either themselves or the extreme opposite of who they are. The first kind of inadequate father that wounds his children and breaks their spirit is the missing in action dad. He's missing in action father that interrupts the emotional connections with his children with periods of long absence, long periods of absences, like cross-posting, going to the rig, death, separation, divorce. The child doesn't know why daddy is gone. So even if it is death, the child has with the absence of the father. Now, what is the kind of legacy such a father leaves for the children? The children have them with authority, because daddy is the representation of authority. And now messing with my emotions just before I connect with him. When he comes, he disappears again. And so I don't want anything to authority. You find people like that and rebelling against authority, whether it concerns them or not. They can just start fighting with for no reason. They will break all the school rules for no reason. Simply anything that represents authority remind them of daddy, so they're going to fight that thing. The second kind of father that wounds the children in ways that break them is the boundary buster dad. The father that breaks down the boundaries of his children emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, socially, sexually. He boundaries with abuse. So the children now, because nobody respected their boundaries growing up, they do not know what boundaries are. To relationship with others, they break down people's boundaries because they simply don't know what boundaries are. I've had to say of his daughter that was about 14, now 15. He barged into her, she was dressing up, and he's like, "What are you covering? Is that not the bomb I used to wash?" And I said, the operative word there is used to. You don't wash it anymore. That's an adult young lady, and she deserves her privacy. She deserves it to respect it. But when you bust down the boundaries of children, they wouldn't know how to communicate boundaries to others. Guess what? Such people put up with so much chaos in their lives. Speak up. Those are the kind of women that stay in abuse and they can't talk. They never had anybody respect their boundaries before, so they don't know what. That's the number that doesn't even know that they're being abused, because abuse is their normal. Abuse is normal. The third kind of father that wants the typical dad. This is a father that does not accept, so he projects his failings onto his children. He probably he tries to leave them through the children. He breaks down their mindset with criticism. The child comes home with the second position in school, and he says to the child, "First, does he have two heads? Why should you come to this house with a second position? Come back to this house with a second position. I will deal with you." Instead of commending the child for doing so well and coming second, makes them feel that anything that is less than is not good enough. So the child grows up never feeling good enough. Now, the people you find raised by such fathers are those who always sit on the fence. They never take a stand. They never make a decision, whether male or female. If the wife says, "Honey, it's time for the children to go to school," which school should they go to? He will say to her, "Anyone you choose is okay." What of the kind of car? You choose the car. They're feeling, "Oh, my husband really takes my opinion seriously." No, what she doesn't know is that he's friends. So that if that school you chose was a bad, they will blame you. If the car you accident, he's not the one that picked the car, it was you. They sit on the fence and they never seem to have their own opinion. And then finally, we have the shadow dad. The shadow dad is there, but he is essentially unavailable. He's the kind of father that the children are talking to and is reading his newspaper. And the children will say, "Daddy, you're listening to me." And he'll be like, "Is it my ears that hear or my eyes?" My friend, if you have something to say, say. But his eyes are on the TV newspaper. So the children grow up feeling like they don't match on entities. People like this grow up and get into relationships. And they are being almost impossible for them to react. This is their normal. Yesterday when Jola said, "I didn't even know I was being abused." So if you have grown up under any of these type of fathers, then you know that your life is not very balanced. You have two relationships. with so many needs, so much neediness. All right. So I come back to the issue of the percentage of young people who are in prisons today and rehabilitation centers also. Most of them are products of homes where the father didn't treat the mother right. And so they sat down there soaking in the abuse. And most times when the father is abusing the mother, and just seeing their mother suffer, just seeing their pain is abuse in itself, because those children will always be living with pain. They'll always be living with worry. They'll always be living with, and the Bible says fear has torment. So the fear will torment those children. And what most of the times that the children want to go and visit their friends all the time. They want to be from home. If you find and don't want to stay at home, they want to visit this friend today, tomorrow they want to go to that auntie, next tomorrow, there is something going on at home and they don't want to be in the atmosphere. Parents think that if the children don't actually fight, the children will not know what's going on. But that's where you lie. Fighting is a spirit. Battery is a spirit. Is a spirit. And even though the children do not physically see you fighting, their spirits are so sensitive, they will pick up on the tension, they will pick up on the dissension, they will pick up on the fights and quarrels, and their spirits will absorb them, and they become what they are absorbing. They become what they are absorbing. I said animals saw sticks that were lined and they produced lined children. They saw sticks that were speckled, they produced children. If animals have the consciousness to become what they are beholding, how much more us of a higher capacity, mentally and psychologically, all of that. That brings me to learn about one more kind of abuse that I suffered, and then I will enter into the topic of forgiveness, which is what they use to keep women in one place until they are killed. Now,
can I just interrupt you, ma'am, for the first time?
Abuse perpetrated.
Do we have mothers? Do we have mothers that also belong to these four groups?
Okay, when we talk about father wounding, we do not really focus on mother wounding. And the reason is this: the father is the one who was created to provide, to defend, and to protect. Every time he abdicates, the order is that daddy is defender, provider. Now, if you find show up with their dad, maybe the mother is dead or the mother left them. The attitude then is, oh, pity me. I don't have a mother. Oh, come and pet me. That's the attitude. That's the carriage of the child. When you find children who are raised by mommy has disappeared, you find angry children. Where is my father? What has happened to my own sister? What? So that's why it's so difficult to deal with the father wounding, of course, in these ways. But the fact that a mother can wound is immediately an indictment of the father, because he's not available to bridge the gap. A mother wounds that way only if the father is not in his office as provider, defender, and protector. So it's possible for the mother to wound, but effect is not as destructive as the father not doing what he's supposed to do. All right. So while I was married, one of the areas where I was shamed and humiliated and dehumanized is sex. I experienced sexual abuse. What do I mean by that? Sexual, many things. It could be a husband forcing his wife to perform anal sex. And I have had pastors' wives come to me to tell me their husbands want them to sodomy. And so abuse could be withholding of sex. Abuse could be being forced to do what you don't want to do. Abuse could be being shamed around sex. I was shamed around sex. So I'm a northern girl. I know that the Muslim part of the North, the women in subtle ways train the girls about being sexual with their husbands in marriage. But the Christian, we don't talk about sex at all. Taboo, 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 taboo. So you enter marriage knowing little to nothing, and you cover on the as you go when you marry. So you can imagine how hard it is then for a young northern girl to make the first sexually on a husband. It's a no. You don't. Wait for when he desires you, you get the sex. You don't have equal rights there. The Bible they talk most of it comes before Bible. So my complaining, you just be there like a log of wood. You don't even do as if you don't want this husband of yours. You don't even attempt to be sexual towards me. Is it that I'm not desiring that? I kept hearing that and hearing that. One day I summoned the courage to stretch my two, and this man behaved as if he did not feel anybody touching me. Two fingers, I now use my full palm to touch his back because he turned his back to me. The moment I touched him, he turned. So I said, okay, maybe he's trying to see how far I will go. I touched him with my Yoruba people say, go down. I used my two hands. He did not answer me. I held him from behind. This man started snoring. He wasn't sleeping, but snoring. I felt embarrassed, so ashamed, so I felt like a prostitute that had been. So I turned my to sleep. And maybe he was tired. You know, you will excuse the thing. You will excuse it. So I woke up the name. And I at this time, I know that I'm dealing with a narcissist, okay? So I don't know what I asked him to do for me. No, what he expected me to do that he felt I didn't do right. And in the process of scolding me, he now said to me, look at the nonsense and you want me to come and make love to you. Something broke that day, and I vowed I will ever in the history of this marriage till I die, I will never make the first sexual move on this man. If he doesn't want the sex, he can leave it. But that was one of the most humiliating moments of my life. So he not only did it intentionally, the next day he used it to drive a dagger into my soul. And I never made any move on him again. I have never made a move again. If you don't want, leave. But so that's one aspect. The aspect was that I wasn't making the sex was his initiative. He could withhold the sex for 2 months, 3 months, 7 months. We have gone 7 months without sex because it's now that would have been bad enough, except it was withholding from me. It was distributing outside to other men. He was having sex with other women. He was cheating on me, adultery, over and over and over and over again. So I wasn't only being deprived, he was also taking this very private, this very in, and sharing with other women outside. So I was broken. You understand? When you know that you're the only one's life, it does something to yourself. It does something to your self-worth. It does something to how you see yourself. Messes with sense of value, your sense of beauty. I'm not beautiful enough. I'm not tall enough. I'm not fair enough. I'm not dark enough. I'm not classy enough. I don't dress enough. I am not this. I am not that. I am not this. I'll tell you something today. A man that has decided to cheat will cheat. Even if you are an angel, he will cheat on you. This decision to cheat is not a product of the failure of the house. It is a product of the decision of the cheat. Because I've seen men I've seen men with wives who look like. You tell me what that is. You tell me what that is. All right? So, function. So, okay, so when people come to me, oh, my wife, well, she does not cook well, and that's why I'm looking at another woman outside. And I ask them, why is the response to culinary capacity? Why is the response adultery? Is there nothing else you can respond? She cannot eat well, you commit adultery. She cannot dress well, she did not greet me, you commit adultery. She didn't greet my mother, you commit adultery. Why is that the only response? How does committing adultery teach her how to cook? Why don't you send her to school and pay? How does committing adultery teach her how to dress? Why don't you call a fashion designer who will look at her body and exploit the body type of clothes you want to see her wear? Why is the response adultery? And in the process refining, my husband got a girl pregnant in our church. And I died again and full of death because this was our church. This girl was a member of the Singles Fellowship. She was the leader fellowship in church, and she used to invite me to come and speak to the sisters in church. And I didn't know that there was an affair going on between her and my husband until I came back. A baby in 1996, December of 1996, came from the US with a baby, and I was seeing, and my neighbors who lived in the same estate with me, the women, they came dancing, they brought powder, they rubbed on all of us, and they left. And my husband said to me, I have to, we had been traveling 48 hours from the US, and he says, I have to go out. I said, what is it that cannot wait? This is 9 p.m. We just arrived. He said, no, he has to go out. I said, go. You can at almost midnight, and started waking me up from sleep. Waking me up. When this baby will wake up and start crying now, you won't get. He said, I have to tell you something. I said, what is it that cannot wait till morning? No, I have to tell you now. What is it? Being unfaithful. I'm so sorry. How is one of the tools that God gave us so that shock will not kill us. You understand? When somebody tells you something, rises up as a defense immediately so that you can absorb the shock in batches. So immediately he said, I've been unfaithful. I thought I immediately my brain said, I've been money what I give and make it keep. He spend that. I didn't give him any money, but that's the thing that denial raised for me. Absorb the shock. Then I said, what do you mean? He said, I've had an affair. Hey, I opened my mouth to scream. He said, it's not, that's not all. The lady in question is, yay. I died and died and died and died. I started to scream. So I brought a pillow and put it in my mouth. Don't hear me screaming, because those women that came to dance will come back. They will think the baby has died. When they come back, what will I tell them? That my husband did what? Is that the kind of story you tell? I was screaming into that pillow. My heart was a million pieces. I said, I'm not doing this. I'm packing my leaving this marriage. I stood up and started packing my things. And the Holy Spirit to me, can we talk? Listen, woman, I don't care where you are right now. If you do not become your own personal prophet, people's prophet to Sokoto, when what you are looking for is inside your Sokoto, you must become your personal prophet, hearing from God and doing what God said you to do. That day, I heard God like I had never heard him. 77. I have never heard God like I heard him that day. He said to me, can we talk? I said, yes, Lord. I left the bedroom and I went to the parlor. I sat on the place when you are mourning, you sit on the floor. I sat on the floor and God said to me, you're packing up your bags. Where are you going? I said, I'm going back to my father. This man did not pick me from the streets, and my father was by no means a poor man. My father was very wealthy. And have you noticed that every time your unmarried sisters and all of you come home for any function, they will speak to your sisters that are not married. They'll say to them, how are you? How was the journey? Greeting will end there. Say, but when they come to you who is married, they say to you, how are you? How was the journey? When are you going back? Why do they ask you when you are going back? Because the day you got married, you lost your place in your father's house. The only place you have a name now is in the lineage of your husband's house. Send an angel to you with a blessing. They are not going to look for you in your father's house. They are to look for you in your husband's house. So this is one of the cardinal holes of marriage. And I said, God, why did I marry? He said, your place is in your husband's house. You stay there and I'll bless you there. I said, Lord, but I have a right. He said, don't exercise the right. Don't exercise the right. He said, living is justice. To show you a higher way, and that is for. God said to me, show you a higher way. It's called forgive. Forgive. Love covereth a multitude of sins. Stay here, I'll bless you here. I said, Lord, you're killing me. It's the only way I can use you. If you don't die, you are using it. A corn of which fall to the ground and die, it abides alone. I said, but Lord, why are you pressing your hand? Not the one who committed adultery. He said, it is upon you that the oil is. And if I must draw more out of you, I have to bring you to the place of threshing, the place of crushing, so I can draw oil out of you. Mama, God is the one who impressed upon me to forgive. It was not any man. It was God. I told God, I cannot forgive him. If you can't forgive, you might as well leave. You cannot stay and not forgive. Let me say this, everyone listening to me. Forgiveness is not an event. Forgiveness is a process. There are certain things people do to you and you can forgive in a moment. But there are other wounds that go so deep, it's a process. So what you do is come every day before God and say, God, give it, but I still feel the pain, help me. When you know forgiveness is complete, is when you remember and there is no pain. When you remember and there is no anger. When you remember and to revenge, then you know forgiveness is complete. But it is not an event. Now, the concept of forgiveness is what they have used to make the victim suffer another round of pain and shame when she has been abused. Forgiveness is a Christian virtue, is a demand by, but it is the choice of the wounded person to offer that forgiveness, and it is not dependent on the abuser. Somebody also can put a time or an approach or a procedure step by step for the victim to forgive. Any forgiveness that does not take into consideration the pain of the victim and does not confront the abuser, forgiveness, please. That's not the kind of forgiveness we call for. That's not the kind of forgiveness that Jesus will advocate. All right? Now, there is an imbalance of power when there is abuse in a marriage. There is an imbalance of power. All right? He should never induce wife to forgive the husbands who violate them. Rather, spiritual leaders must help victims focus on their own need for healing first. Mama, you know what I find? Once they start talking about this, they tell the person that has been wounded, whether it's the woman, forgive so that God can forgive you. Forgive so that you can save your marriage. Forgive so that everything will be all right. Forgive so that we can go back to normal. They are more concerned with the facade of normalcy than they are with the human being who is suffering. They want to maintain the status quo of, the church are doing well. Everything is all right. But the facade is rottenness that is breaking the bones and killing the spirit day by day by day. They will approach with the same vehemence that they approach the victim. Why would you put pressure on the abused victim to fix what they didn't? Mama, when I stayed after that incident, God said to me, I will bless you for obeying me. Mama, I cannot go into the blessings God brought to me for obeying. Husband persisted in having another affair after that. And on top of that, he hit me. That incident of hitting me. That's one other. It's another incident of hitting me when I just came out of hospital. I packed my bags and I left. I had children and disappeared to Gombe. Gombe is so far away from Port Harcourt. I mean, the Bible says as far as it's from the west and the north, south. I ran from Port Harcourt to Gombe with my children, and I said, Nobody is going to invite me again as a minister because I've forgotten ministry. I opened a restaurant, Mama. I started cooking and feeding people to make money to take care of me and my children. I did that, Mama, because I was so want me again, sister. Mama, my pastor then stood on my neck. Go back home. Come back home. Reverend Acceptable. Reverend Christy, come back. We will sort out the issue. Come back, you won't before I speak to you. Reverend Christy, this is not how to deal with the matter. Can you come back, come back. I carried my bag. I went back home. Mama, I confronted my husband once. Never insisted, like said I return, that he deals with himself. Never held him accountable. Never put him in a program to help him deal with this thing. They just wanted me back. And as I came back, nothing anymore. Until there was another round of adultery. Again, I left. Again, my pastor stood on my neck. Come back. I came back, and this time the one is the one that looked at me in the face because it takes two to tango. Somebody will say, "Oh, I didn't do anything wrong in the marriage. It was all my husband. I did something wrong." When I began to cry out to God, God said to me, "Why do you allow yourself to be dehumanized, abused without standing up for yourself? Is that the of God in you? For God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of love, of power, and of a sound mind. Less than what God called you to be. You become locked on. You are held in a prison, and you become the prey to a ruthless predator. You be battered, beaten, and defeated. That cover you. God said to me, your fault in this marriage is that the abuse and took the abuse. I thought you were being holy. No, you were not being holy. I put anger in as a response to abuse. Why didn't you allow the anger to spur you to action? Why didn't you allow the anger to the place where you took a stand for yourself? You are responsible for, and there is no award for arriving heaven early. No. In fact, I dare say there is arriving in heaven with one eye when God sent you here with two because husband removed it. Would you let that happen? God said to me, you sat there and took the abuse, and now you are crying out to me. You need to take a stand for. Now, my husband started complaining when I became my own person, when I began to grow, when I began to say, no, sir, you can't do this. You can't cross this line. One day, I confronted him about an affair he was having. And the woman satisfies me. If you can't do it, you can pack your things and go. If you want me to consider leaving her, then step up your game. Then maybe I'll consider it. What disrespect is more than that? Is there any further way that man can tell me that I have no value? Mama, I told you that I could not mount a pulpit to minister. These are the kind of words I was hearing that broke me. So when I heard that, I decided, no, God gave me leave to walk away from the marriage. How do I survive here and keep my dignity intact? So I began to put boundaries in place, which is what everyone's listening today. If you are being abused, if God has not given you the leave to walk away from that marriage, you have to survive in that place, then you must put boundaries in. And once you start boundaries in place, the reaction will be terrible. My husband was now complaining to my first daughter. What is wrong with you? Not how I've always been. Is this not how I've always been? Is this not me? Have I changed? Why is she reacting now? What is all this? What is all this nonsense? All this insubordination? And my daughter said that when you married her, she was. Now she's grown up. She knows herself now. She knows what she likes and doesn't like. She's found her voice. That you have to start adjusting to who she has become. This is an adult. You know what my husband said to my daughter? I want every woman to hear me well. This is how the mind of the man who abuses works. He said, a man will treat his wife the way she trains. My daughter shouted, Daddy, what did you say? He said, a man will treat his wife trains him too.
She
My
trains
daughter
him.
came to me and said, Mommy, from day one, any man that wants to marry him, I will start training him. I will train him. Oh, I'm going to allow myself to become you, Mommy. Mommy, I don't like this you. A man will treat his wife the way she trains him to. Everyone hearing me, you must start the training and respect with honor. But that training simply means put the boundaries in place. The young man that marry my daughter, I told you before, I told him, don't one finger like this in I take her from you. That was a boundary I put in place. And the guy has never broken that. Because it was place. But when he will slap you, you will say, you make excuse for him. You use makeup to cover the black eye. I ran into a door. How many doors? And how come you don't know where the door is that you always run into it? You know, that's how men. My mother-in-law, when I ran to the north, and he begged and begged and begged, and I came back. We passed through Benin, and my mother-in-law was now begging me, Christy, no, they vex like that. You know, woman life now, so it be. You go just endure. I said, up there, your generation options. My generation has options, and I will take the option. He said, are you threatening me? I said, call it what you want, but if you're I'm done. Well, the next time his hand touched me, I didn't get done. What I did, and please hear me. We're being very honest and open here. One woman's story is not the same with another woman. What God would tell one to do is not what God would tell her to do. And what does not mean it's right. I was in the heat of anger. That day he hit me with the surgery and the thing opened. I went upstairs to our bedroom and I took his, and I went after him with the gun. And I said, today is the last day. Yes, Mama. I went after him with his gun. He ran. I said, today is the last day in history that will ever touch me. The next your hand touches me, you die, and I go to hell. I go to prison. I had up my mind. I will kill you, and I will. Do not ever touch me again. I was looking for him. The children said to him, Daddy, with mommy like this, you better hide. This is not mommy. Something is happening here. He said, please hide me, hide me. The children pushed him into the room and locked the door and took the key. And I was looking around that house with the gun in my hand. And I couldn't find, so I left the house, locked them inside the house, locked the gate, and left with the key. Mama, they broke the door of the house, broke the gun away. His uncle called me days later. He didn't come back home. He said, Christy, please allow your husband. I said, I didn't drive him from home. I was just making a point. I've made my point. Tell him, the next time his hand, he will die that day. He has signed his death sentence. I will kill him. I was angry. But you know, Mama, is the last day ever that my husband ever talked menacingly like he used to do before. Sometimes he'll just stand up and do a movement, and that was intimidating. What he's telling me is that I will soon punch, but after that, God, never again, never. What am I saying? When you put the boundaries in place, insist on them, you command respect. But when you have no boundaries, you are treated like put up boundaries and stop.
My
if you must
God.
stay in that place and stop the abuse. Now,
wow.
One thing that I must say at this point is this.
Okay.
Please, Pastor,
as a parting word.
Never put an abused victim. Sorry, Mama. I hear you.
Yes. Oh, I wish we had all the time.
I didn't hear you, Mama.
What bring you back? But
let me
go
say
ahead
one
and say
thing,
that
and then I'll be.
Yes.
Yes. Never put a victim in your office and put her beside her and tell her to tell you what. Don't ever do that. Don't ever make a victim the story of her abuse in the presence of her abuser, at least not at the beginning. Because some of us have been so intimidated, we'll tell you there's nothing wrong. We'll tell you, no, fine. Because we know that when we get back home, we're going to pay the price of opening our mouth here. So please, if a woman comes to you, believe her, number one. 2, validate her pain. Don't trivialize it. Validate the pain. 3, let her tell her story in the presence of her abuser. Finally, please get trained if you're victims of domestic violence. Get formal training. Of oil on your head is not the life counsel abuse victims when you are not well equipped. Please go and equip yourself so that you will become the safe place for these women when it is time to work. Thank you, Mama.
Oh my God. Wow. Thank you so much, Reverend Christy. This is so mind-blowing. We need to come and dissect these points. They are a lot. Reverend Christy has a home, a safe haven for people that are recovering from drug addiction. Also, a safe haven for women that are battered. If you want to support her, please go to her website. Christie Bature, I think it's at Christie Bature. You will see her Instagram page. Please, I want you to support this lady. She's doing a lot. I want you, some of you have asked that you want to send money to us, you want to help, but this is one way by which you can do this. Please help her as she helps other women. I have a home for women that are in abusive relationship, we'll talk about that later, but I want you to please support Reverend Christie Bature. She's been a blessing. Thank you so much, ma'am. One of these Tuesdays, I'm going to bring her back. She hasn't even said anything. I've known her for 20-something years. You are going to hear a lot. We really appreciate you, ma'am. Thank you so, so very much. The Lord bless you. We're going to have our last speaker tonight. He's a lawyer. He's a barrister at law, and he's going to bring us to the dimension of law, because some of us don't really know, what am I supposed to do? What, when we talk about boundaries and all that, what are the provisions in the law? Barrister Banjo Ayenakin, getting ready to be a son.
Amen.
He's a fantastic lawyer, and he's been a blessing. Thank you for being my guest tonight. Please, we want to listen to you. Share with us. You know what we're talking about.
Yes, good evening, ma. I also want to welcome all our audience from all over the world. Like Mama said, my name is Banjo Ayenakin. I'm a legal practitioner. Mama, first of all, I want to thank you sincerely for this privilege given to me. In recent times, when I've watched on the TV, I've read on social media cases of abuse, how nagging and how trending issues of abuse have been. I've been so disturbed. I've been subjected to serious psychological trauma personally as a lawyer. And it seems as if the trend is becoming more nagging in recent times. So this evening, first of all, I'm going to talk about abuse from the angle of law. One, let me first of all give a rundown of what I'm going to talk about. I will define abuse. I will talk about characteristics of abuse. What are the major highlights of abuse? From there, I will look at ingredients that constitute abuse. Then I will also zero in on what is domestic violence. I will also look at forms of domestic violence. I will not go into causes and what have you, because I've seen that a lot of speakers have done that.
Yes, and because of our time.
And because of our time, then eventually I will zero in on what does the law say and what are the things that can be done within the ambit of the law. Now, abuse generally is a generic word, and it means any form of harm, injury, pain, or violence that is inflicted on a person. Like I said, it's a generic word because we have different forms of abuse. We have sexual abuse, we have mental abuse, we have psychological abuse, we have sexual abuse. But generally, when you talk about abuse, you are talking about pain, injury, and violence, or what have you, being inflicted on the person of another. Now, what are those ingredients that you will see that you can say this person is being abused? Number one, you could see things like cruelty. A child could be abused because we have things like child abuse. So when you are cruel to a child, then you are abusing the child. When you are cruel to a woman, you are abusing the woman. When you are cruel to a man, when all these forms of cruelty come within the confines of home, it is then you have things like domestic abuse or domestic violence, because it is within the confines of the home. So you could also have injury being another ingredient. When you talk about injury, you are now talking about non-verbal abuse. It could be a form of battery. It could be a form of assault. It could be harm. It could also be distress being inflicted on the person of another. Now, let me quickly run through weapons of abuse. Now, if you listen to what the various speakers have spoken about, you will discover that there are different weapons that an abuser can use. Number one, an abuser can use the weapon of intimidation. When a person is being intimidated, a woman wants to talk in the house, you do not even allow the woman to talk. You do not allow the woman to have a say. You are intimidating the woman. It could also come in form of harassment. You are harassing the person. Harassment could be physical, harassment could be psychological, it could be mental. So whenever these ingredients are present, you are actually dealing with a case of abuse. It could be a case of neglect. Abuse could be neglect. It could be isolation. When you refuse to talk to someone who is who deserves to be talked to, you abandon a person, you refuse to perform your conjugal responsibility to a woman who is supposed to enjoy that consortium. Such form of isolation is a form of abuse. It could also be a form of yelling, shouting on somebody. You are yelling, shouting on a child, on a woman, on a husband, or what have you. It's a form of abuse. It could be body shaming. Look at your body. You don't even have shape. You don't even look good. All these indications and ingredients are being taken care of. And then last but not the least, which is the the commonest one, sexual exploitations. And within the confine of the law, there are so many languages that are being used for sexual exploitation. For example, we have indecent sexual assault. That is a law we call Criminal Code in Nigeria. Criminal Code in Nigeria talks about indecent sexual behavior or indecent sexual assault. There are some men, we call them beasts. They indulge in what is called bestiality. There are certain men that enjoy having sex with a woman who cries. Such a man will not derive sexual satisfaction until when he's making fun or making sex or having love with a woman, the woman is weeping, the woman is crying. Such a man is indulging in bestiality. That is an indecent sexual assault. Such a man does not enjoy himself until the woman is crying, until the pain is inflicted on the woman, or something derogatory is done to the woman. So that is indecent sexual assault. Now, having talked about abuse, the commonest form of abuse is what is called domestic violence, like I said earlier on. And domestic violence talks about any form of pain or harm or injury that is melted on a person within the confine of the home. And Mama, may I shock you, 70% of victims of domestic violence are women. Research has shown that women are major victims of domestic violence. And all this kind of domestic violence could take various forms. It could take body shaming, isolation, and so many other things that I've talked about. And in recent times, in the 21st century, we have forms of those domestic violence. We have acid baths. Some women have received acid baths. In fact, some have been burnt. I was in a prison in Ekiti, just for prison decongestion program, and I saw a man. That man was the man alleged the woman of infidelity, and the woman was cooking. The man poured petrol on the man while the woman was cooking. That woman's body caught fire, and she nearly got roasted. Apart from acid bath, you burning, body burning, that your body that is making you attracted to men. I want to burn it. I want to disfigure you. That's an abuse, molestation. As a professional, I have seen women come to me. There was even a woman that came to me, and I was trying to counsel the woman, why not we try? Because under Matrimonial Causes Act, as a lawyer, I am enjoined to talk to you, to encourage you, and I'm supposed to file a certificate of reconciliation to ascertain if I have tried to reconcile you or not. Madam, why can't you go home? She said the most nauseating thing to her is that her husband always tells her that she doesn't have shape, that she's shapeless.
Oh, God.
That she looks like an octopus. It's so nauseating to this woman. Now, do you know the most psychological effect of this is that it debases the woman. It makes a woman lose what is called self-dignity or human dignity. Mama, do you know that human dignity is one of the fundamental rights of a human being? Chapter 4, Section 34 of the 1999 Constitution empowers any human being to be entitled to the dignity of human person. In other words, if you are a human being, you are expected and entitled to be valued, to be respected, and to be honored. If anybody inflicts any form of pain, be it psychological, be it physical, on you, that debases your humanity, such a person has violated your fundamental rights. And these fundamental rights are inalienable. And that will now lead me to, what are those laws that protect people against abuse? One of the recent and fantastic intervention of law in Nigeria is what is called VAP, Violence Against Persons Prohibitions Act. This law prohibits violence against persons. One of the major intervention of this law is the fact that this law has redefined rape. Before, rape was defined as the act of penetrating the vagina of a woman. But in the 21st century, through the intervention of this legislative mechanism, it has been redefined to include such things as oral and anal sex or any form of sexual violation that is devoid of the consent of the other person. Before, a man could not be raped. Why? Because one of the ingredients of rape was penetration, and a man cannot be penetrated. But today, penetration is VAP has changed that. Any form of sexual relationship between a man and a woman, be it by penetration, be it through vagina, be it through oral sex, be it through anal sex, because somebody may say, I didn't penetrate the vagina, so I didn't rape her. And such person may escape the wrath of the law. But today, VAP has gone ahead to say, you don't need to penetrate the vagina. If you penetrate even her mouth, or you penetrate her anal, or you had oral sex with her without her consent, then you have violated her, you are guilty of rape. And the offenses of rape carry such grievous penalty. In most cases, in most states of Nigeria, it carries life imprisonment. And I want to encourage women or men or anybody who is raped to quickly, as a matter of urgency, report. It's very, very important. If you do not report, especially you do not carry medical examination within things like 48 hours, evidence will be obstructed, and then we may not be able to prosecute any longer because there may be some intervening circumstances. Even the bruises that could be seen on the wall of the vagina might have been obliterated, because rape is usually forceful, and because of the force inflicted, there will be injury to the wall of the vagina. And these are things doctor will see and come and give medical evidence. But by the time you take more than 48 hours, you will have been healed. Then the spermatozoa also, the process of spermatozoa there could have been removed. So report on time. Do not allow anybody to intimidate you. There are so many international agencies and local agencies and NGO that are there to protect you. It is not easy for the abuser to kill you. I can tell you, you will not be killed for voicing out. Even we lawyers, sometimes we prosecute cases. People are threatening us. If you come for that case, I will kill you. I am telling you, for over 20 years that we've been doing the job, we've not been killed. We are not even near being killed. Therefore, you need to come out and talk on time. So VAP is a major law. And now, before, it was not easy for you to be able to have laws that will be able to prevent you, or in the face of sexual abuse, especially if it was not rape, because the major offense in criminal code and penal code was rape. If you have some other forms of abuse, you might not get justice. But today, VAP has gone to talk even body shaming, even molestation, even neglect. The definition of abuse is now wide and limitless. Therefore, and another thing is this: if you are abused, it is not expensive for you to get justice. Why did I say that? In most cases, you will not spend money even procuring the services of a lawyer. It is the state that will represent you. You don't need to procure the services of a lawyer. You see, when a person commits any criminal act, it is an act against the state. It's an offense against the state. It's an offense against the government. All you need to do is to complain. Government has what is called Ministry of Justice, and there are thousands of lawyers in that ministry who will stand up for you. And there are other agencies of government. We have, for example, we have FIDA, Federation of International Lawyers. They are lawyers. They are ready to protect women, to stand by women free of charge. All you just need to do is just to complain. And finally, under VAP, that law has 3 dimensions. Number 1, to list the offenses. Number 2, to tell victims of such offenses what can be done. And number 2, to provide compensation for victims of such offenses. So I'm now trying to crave your indulgence of the fact that there are mechanisms under our law for compensation for you if you have been violated. Thank you, Mama. I'm grateful.
Yeah. May the Lord bless you, Barrister.
Amen.
And keep you and preserve you.
Amen.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, Mama.
Please, you are coming back. All
Thank
of you that
I'm ready, Mama.
I've hosted, I'm just introducing you. This is going to be a marathon, not a sprint. Because we need to continue to create awareness for our people. Nobody deserves to be abused.
Yes.
Nobody. So thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
Do you have a parting word before I ask Dr. Franklin to also give his parting word? I don't know if Reverend Bature is still there before we close tonight. A parting word, Barrister.
Yes. My parting word is that you do not need to condone abuse for too long. You need to seek help. You can seek spiritual help, you can seek psychotherapy, and you can seek legal help. Even we lawyers, we have been trained also to offer some psychological assistance, even to victims of abuse. Number 2, my parting word also is to let you know that it is not expensive to seek justice. It is not expensive. Go to Ministry of Justice or go to the police station if you are abused, and you will be assisted. Thank you, Mama.
Thank you so very much, my Lord. That's what I call it. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
I'm going to host you again. God bless you. Dr. Franklin, your parting words, sir. Network was a bit funny. Please like this video, share it. Let's help other people. That is the purpose of this symposium. Dr. Franklin? Okay. I don't know whether it's network again, but I want to thank you Reverend Bature? Okay. Thank you so very much, everybody. Thank you for being a part of this tonight. We're going to meet again at 8 o'clock, and then every Tuesday for 1 hour, I'll be bringing back these precious gifts of God to address us. Together, we're going to rebuild the society.
Amen.
We're going to help the abused. We're going to help even the abusers, because like we had, some of them, it's because they are hurting, that's why they are hurting people. There's no excuse for abuse, but you see, whether you're a man or you're a woman, we're here to help you. I also have a home for women that are in abusive relationships. Reverend Christy also has. We're going to be talking about that towards the end. You know, I'll see you all again tomorrow at 8 o'clock. The Lord bless you and keep you and cause his face to shine upon you continually. Thank you again, my guests, Barrister Ayenakin, Dr. Franklin, and Reverend Bature. God bless you all. Please have a fantastic night. I'll see you tomorrow at 8 p.m.